Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Kevin Off Key, the official podcast. My name's Kevin Rich, and I'm your host and founder. So, on today's episode, we have the struggles of developing a new band, and I have a brand new guest on this podcast. He is a good friend of mine, and he's also a phenomenal musician. How you doing, Taj?
What's up? I'm chilling.
All right, so I wanted to ask you, as far as our topic goes, the struggles of developing a new band. You kind of have to start with a new band. So, Taj, I wanted to ask you, what drives you to start a new band or a new project in any kind of way?
I just think ever since I've been little, I've just imagined music. I'll be daydreaming, just thinking about a drum part, or maybe I'll even hear a whole song, or maybe just a melody in my head, and I'll just be right there, just mentally playing music.
Yeah.
And I think that just kind of evolves. What that naturally evolves into is just like, writing music, writing a song, and what are you gonna do with that?
Right.
So like being in the band or having a band's like the kind of next step. You gotta that's the actual creative outlet.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. So another question I wanted to ask you is there any certain vision that kind of comes to mind for you when creating a new band or project?
Certainly there's a vision, and like I said, I've always been able to imagine music, but I didn't really like enter my zone or like find my niche until like mid high school, where basically
Yeah.
I had a friend that I was very close to for since like middle school for a certain amount of time, and we had a falling out, and that maybe part of it might not, probably, I don't know, but like a
Right.
few months later of just not talking at all, almost zero communication, besides maybe being in the same social environment with the same people. We still got mutual friends and stuff, but
Yeah.
she texted me in the middle of the night. She's at the hospital and just woke up from a coma from a suicide attempt.
Oh man, that's rough.
And like I was close to this person for a very long time. I knew exactly, like, what, not that I know exactly what she was feeling. I don't know what anybody is actually feeling, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like just having some idea of what, it's different, or it just hit some kind of way when a person was like going through stuff,
Yeah.
and then like, I wasn't around for a minute, and that person's probably still struggling, probably now additionally struggling with whatever emotional stuff might have came from losing a friend, you know what I mean? And so she kind of tells me about the stuff she had been, a lot. Some of it was stuff I knew before, and I kind of had the same old like gimmicky thing where like I know her life goals and stuff too. I knew what she
Yeah.
wanted to do, and I'll remind her like, hey, like, you still got stuff on your list.
Yeah.
I know you have like purpose. I know that you have drive to go do these things. Just
Right.
kind of reminders like that. But overall, we just talked, and she kind of told me the situation, how it happened. That blew my mind too. But that led me to like feeling some kind of way after the conversation. I just kind of sat thinking with myself, and at the time, the best way I knew how to get my emotions out, still the best way I know how to get my emotions out, is just by writing. So I just started putting my thoughts into words, and I just started writing just a song, just kind of about a mixture of like being like very suddenly hit with like this news. For one thing, like this could have been this could have went very different. This could be me waking up the next day and hearing like my old friends not here anymore.
Yeah.
So like there's that aspect, and then there's just like knowing the stuff that is in her head, and I just kind of compose a very raw idea, like just a very raw song, just pure emotional outpour. And that song was like after the fact. That song was like when I like realized, whoa, this is actually like very good. There is something special about what I just made, and it didn't click right then. There's a second time, maybe a year or maybe two later, possibly, where I'm at a school event, and I'm just walking around. I think it was at Carterville, and school it was the school there. The high school was just built, brand new. I'm in there the first time, and we probably weren't even supposed to be doing this, but I'm the kind of person that just likes to go explore and walk around and find stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm walking around, and then I'm walking past the stairway, and I hear crying, so I could start walking up, and I find this girl, and I ask her like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? And I find out that this girl is basically, this is always scary too, to hear it this way, but that she's made her decision, and she was walking around telling her friends that she decided she was going to take her life. This is like the day before spring break. She was like, that's it, I'm done. She had been walking around, she told her friends goodbye, and then she was just sitting there with herself. And that hit me some kind of way too, obviously. And this point, we're like further in high school. And I had my own depression, my own battles with stuff, and I had people that I knew I liked to talk to, or just people that other people were always comfortable talking with around, out of just the pool of like band kids that are at this event. Yeah. And so I go off, and I find like 2-3 other people that I know are either like good at talking to people, good at comforting people, or just good at listening.
Yeah.
And this person, in the way Carbondale's like band worked out, the drum line and the percussion had their own class. You could also be in the full band class. I just happened to not be this time. So I actually didn't know this girl. She was a Carbondale student. So like it probably helped. And I didn't think about this at the time, but like everybody I grabbed was somebody she was familiar with because they were in class together. And they ended up deciding to have like a sleepover, and then they ended up hanging out all the spring break. That girl was still alive, and honestly, my friends and I joke because we'll see her around at age. We're like, man, she gets prettier every time we see her. I'm like, I love that, like, she's not just like still living, but like
she's doing well.
Looks like she's doing better every time I see her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
But I wrote a song about that, and talking to her, and like that overall experience too. And at this point, I think I learned about Johnny Logan's writing contest, and this is cool because I feel like we probably met by now too.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we were actually in the same auditorium.
Yeah, so we went, and so let's fast forward to Johnny Logan writing contest, the award day. We're all there. Yeah. You're there for art.
Yeah, I think so.
And you had won some stuff, so that was already cool. And then we're sitting in there waiting for them. They're announcing songs, and I actually went the year before.
Yeah.
But
wasn't it like your second year or something?
That was my second year there, because that was our senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't meet you till senior year.
Yeah.
And we should talk about how we met too, because I think that story's hilarious. But I entered that song into the writing contest, and that song won first place. And this song, being another song that's kind of about depression, or another person's like just battle with suicide or that kind of stuff. I'm sorry to make the topic dark for everybody, but I like spaces where people aren't afraid to share that. When weirdly enough, like I have this thing where I'll meet somebody new, and maybe in like 10 minutes you're already comfortable enough to explain to me your whole life story and all your trauma and stuff.
Yeah, like space.
And I'll even be able to, like, with my my limited knowledge, with what I do have, be able to find some way to inspire or just make you feel better about that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that's kind of, I don't know, that was just comes from me. And I think in writing songs like that, I was putting like an aspect of myself that was true into it, and I was writing about things that weren't just important to me, and not even just important to the immediate person I'm talking about, but something that was important to my whole class.
Yeah.
Because this is somebody that had relationships with everybody, would have affected so many people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's why it resonated so much, and that's why another reason why I think that I won that year. Also, didn't even mention to this point that I won the year before with the song I talked about before.
Oh yeah.
So this is like a real calling moment to me, and I know I said it to you because we were sitting. I went and sat with you that year too.
Yeah.
We were literally sitting next to each other when this happened because we had just started talking. We just started our first band.
Yeah.
To bring us back to that topic, and this is kind of what like really gets the ball rolling because like I've written these 2 songs that are very niche, and they both won awards, and you can put, you know, whatever amount of weight you want to put on it for you know, it's just a high school writing contest award, whatever, but that meant so much more to me, and that told me not only, you know, am I creating something that's like, I guess if you want to say that means good, it probably doesn't, but like, you know, I'm creating something that people are like recognizing, and then something that's also important to people and important to me. And that was when I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's when my vision, to finally answer your question, really comes into form. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because this is what I can see is resonating with everybody.
Yeah, it's something you're proud of, something you can also like know that helps impact some other people in a positive way.
Yeah.
And at least like, you know, like you might not be able to provide obviously medication, but it's like you might be able to provide some outlet to say, hey, you know, you're not alone in this, or someone, you know, listening, relating, understanding, or something.
Yeah, and I know, you know, the right song will go a long way as
far
as just like, man, I just showed one of my coworkers this one album in particular. I was like, man, I was going through some very rough time, through a very rough time for like this one year, and I found this album, and man, every time I just started feeling like garbage, I would put that on, and that was, I won't even say it set me straight. It just got me back up. It was not even just like got me through it. It actually made me feel better about like where I was and where I was going.
Right, it kind of helped shift your outlet and everything. Like outlook.
Are we name dropping? Can we name drop?
Like, are you talking about for like?
I don't know if I'm just
specific
like, people
or bands.
Bands, like if I like what I was listening to.
Yeah, just be respectful.
Oh well, love it, love with all my heart. North Lane's Singularity.
Oh yeah.
That album right there, that got me through so much.
That's awesome.
So much, and it's just a great album, perfect album, no skips.
Yeah, like, and I mean, if we're talking about, you know, like, and we're musicians, but we're also listeners too. You know, we're also consumers of the product. So like, and I think that's one of the cool things is everybody's a consumer of the product, even if it's of their own making. You know, even if they're making music too, they're still listening to music. So on some aspect, I would say for me, yeah, I probably have a list about 20 songs that I could say that are like the most influential, important songs that have probably saved my life, or have at least impacted my life or influenced my life in some positive way. And like, literally, for example, a good example would be Matt Mason. He had an album, I think it was 2021 or 22, but it was I can't remember, but he had a song called Lonely As You and Cut Deep. Those 2 songs are so good in my opinion. I love those. I resonate with them so well, and I think like it just, you know, I kind of relate with every single kind of thing he spoke about in those songs, and I think it's a perfect example of just how well and how much you can actually impact people, even if it's 100 miles away, 1,000 miles away, you know, on an island, in space, anywhere, you know. So that kind of brings me to my next topic I wanted to ask you about. What are some struggles you faced along the way with creating a new band? I mean, I know we've both faced some of them together.
Man,
so
most of those we faced together. Man, I mean, we could start on that point. Obviously, the first challenge of starting any band is just finding your people. And,
yes.
I would say, going through high school, because I knew what I was going to do for a very long time. Like I said, I've always imagined music. Once I started writing songs, I knew I'm going to be in a band. I'm going to be a rock star. That's just what it is. And my mind's set on it. My heart's set on it. And that's just what's going to happen. Right. So, once I decide on that, what was the question?
What are some struggles you faced along the way with creating a new band?
Once I decide on that, like, so, I'm serious. I meant it.
Yeah.
And everybody close to me knew I meant it. And so I'm trying to start a band in high school, and
Right.
it's very rare that people at that stage not only know what they're gonna do in life, but have known what they're gonna do in life for their whole life.
Right.
So, I got like groups of people to play together, and for different like school events, especially like marching band events. They had a bunch of fundraisers and stuff, and I'd have a couple classmates that would always, like, hey, let's just go learn some covers, let's go play. You
Right.
know, raise some money for the band, go on whatever trip or do whatever we were doing that year. Just always fun.
Right.
But those people, like I said, they probably haven't decided, I'm gonna be a rock star. Like, they might have different goals. They might have
Right.
different goals
Exactly.
in life. They might have different goals for music. And so my first challenge was finding people as serious about it as me.
Right.
That's obviously the first challenge always.
Oh yeah, and it's like I want to clear the air too, and I want to say like there's nothing wrong with if that's not your goal, that's not your goal. There's nothing wrong with that. So
Holy.
like,
and I respect the if we do start playing together and it's not what your heart's set on to do for the rest of your life, I appreciate the time that we did do it.
yeah, exactly, and I appreciate you at least letting me know, and communicating that to me. So
Yeah.
but I mean that's a whole nother topic too, communication.
Communication is always most important.
Yes. I was gonna say like, yeah. I've definitely had my fair share of finding like a proper lineup, proper bandmates that are gonna be consistent, gonna be staying. And it's nothing against any of those musicians. They're all fantastic in their own ways. They might just have personal things going on, things that are limiting them that
they're
can't.
generally life challenges as well.
Right. Yeah, they're just life challenges that get in the way.
There's too many factors that go into it.
Right. They're most definitely, and it's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, there might not be a clear answer. There might not be a clear way that's gonna be the, great on both ends.
Unfortunately, sometimes that is the answer. It's just like, well, it's just not gonna work out. It's kind of that simple.
Yeah, I've had bands fall apart just because we can't, we
Can't pick a day to practice.
we can't pick a day to practice. We're just not available, and unfortunately,
that's
that's
the
just the way
hardest
it
part.
is. Unfortunately, like it sucks, but
That's that's really the first thing you gotta deal with right there.
Yep, exactly. Cause like, it's definitely not as glorified as it might seem on the outside from, I don't know if you would say videos or movies or anything like that, but definitely the stigmatized idea of being a rock star or
I
a
do wish it was
musician.
as easy to start a band as it was in a Disney movie.
Oh man,
Man.
hey, those movies slap though. Hey, like respect.
Yeah, I guess what I was saying was just, there were like some groups of people I got together in high school where it's like, yeah, dude, you kind of do just take it too seriously. Or like, they just, like I said, they didn't want to not that they didn't want to, but they had other goals, they had other priorities, and that wasn't
Right.
something they wanted to invest that much in at the time. And,
Right.
that's completely okay. I just had to find my people that were, but finding those people that's one of the hardest parts there. That's one of the, at least, like I said, that's the very first challenge to starting a band, is just finding the people that not only you resonate with, but people
Yes.
that are serious about it and have the same drive as you.
Exactly, and like there's just times where you might click with someone, you might not click with the other person, and there's nothing wrong with that either. That's just the way it works. And I think a lot of times when it comes to finding your lineup, like kind of like what Taj said, you really just have you might have someone who might not be able to invest that amount of time into what you might be looking for. So, and like, I understand if that's something that you want, you know what I mean? But if it's something that they don't want, then, that's not something that you're really going to be able to convince them to, in my opinion.
And maybe it could be like it's something they want, but like you said, they don't have time to invest that kind of like energy into it, or
Right.
You know, sometimes it's you, and sometimes it's not that you don't got the time to invest, but sometimes it's just like the way you're taught. Like you say, your schedules might.
Yeah, they might
Be like,
clash.
well, I'm only free this day. I'm only free this day at that time. Oh, well, I can't do that time because I'm not off work yet.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, now I gotta drive my cousin over here to work, and yeah, I just can't do it over here. We got this other prior engagement. That's like, everyone just can never get.
Right.
Because our first band had 6 people, and getting
Oh
6
my
people
gosh, yes.
together in one room at one time. What were we thinking?
Like, good luck.
Oh my!
And that was.
How many times did we actually have everybody at practice?
I think we had more times than not had like half of us practice. Then I think we probably had like regular practice was like half the band for like maybe once or twice a week, I think, and then like maybe twice a month, I think you would get the full
everybody.
band. Yeah, on a lucky month, probably twice.
And even
3 times for a
if we got a show.
Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah,
no
it's
problem.
balls to
We're
the
there,
wall.
but
yeah.
no, we don't got nothing going on. Yeah, man, I'll see you next. What day is it? Yeah, I'll see you the 28th. Oh, it's the 3rd. Yep, see ya.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's, I was gonna say, that was back whenever we were, you know, a lot younger and didn't have a lot of these
Yeah,
responsibilities.
man, I only got, I'm 17, I'm 16, I can't even drive a car yet, man. My mom can't get off work and take me to Carbondale.
It's past my curfew, you know.
That was real, too.
Yeah.
That was real.
And, I mean, I'm sure that's another issue that some
because we were the old heads in the band.
Yeah, that's another factor that some bands might struggle with and everything. They might have some youngsters in there that might not allow them to, have practice late at night or something, or like they might not be able to because
man,
school
I got
stuff.
a paper to write.
Right. I was gonna say like another one. This is a big one for me. I know how real it can get in the music industry with like when it comes to money. Like the more money you have, I will say it. No,
the less concerns you have.
Well, yes, the better off you'll be. No, not even just in music, but in life. I think it'll at least provide you with the resources. Money isn't everything, but it can sure help.
It's at least one less thing to worry about, and it might make a few other things not a concern either.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've been in bands to where we've been able to budget for certain shows. We've been able to budget for certain videos or like certain productions and everything.
For a video?
I think it was about $700 at the time.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I was gonna say it was pretty good. I was really happy with the product and everything. It did a really good job.
Was that
really good for the price, definitely.
Why do I not remember the name of the song?
Mindsets.
Dude, yeah, that's one of my favorite ones for real.
Thank you.
That sounds so fake to anybody who's just listening. Like, yeah, I don't remember the name of the song.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that one. I love it. No,
yeah.
actually, I love that one. That was great.
Thank you. Yeah, like I was gonna say, I think when it comes to,
I think I hurt my knee in the pit to that song. Bro, my knee still hurts sometimes too.
Oh, you really hurt your knee in the pit. Oh,
you remember that?
Yeah.
The release show, dude.
My
knees still aren't right, bro.
See, that's when I fell in love with that venue. I was like, dude. Oh my God.
That's when I fell at that venue.
Oh, oh man. 2 sides to every story.
Man.
See, 2 flips to the
My
same
knee
coin.
hurt right now.
You're an old man now. You're a 25-year-old senior
I'm not
citizen.
even 25.
You're a 24-year-old senior citizen.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, let me stand up.
But, yeah, anyways, I was gonna say, like, there's been, if you have the budget for more, for a bigger expense for, like, videos or music or, advertising, production quality, touring, anything, all of those factors, whatever it is, that's awesome. The more the merrier to you. But I also don't think that you need to have a specific amount of money, per se, to, that stops you from making music.
Really,
you
don't
like
even need to have money.
Exactly, like you're always gonna face criticisms, of not having the highest production quality and everything. But if you want to make music, I think you should make music no matter what,
And just because,
even if it's on an iPhone. You know, granted,
yeah, you
granted
can make
that,
something incredible on an iPhone.
exactly, and granted that's not me saying that it's bad to use a lot of money. Like I said, if you have the more money, that's amazing. Good for you. That's fantastic. That's amazing.
Resources you have.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so don't let something like money intimidate you from pursuing something you want to pursue. You know, like obviously I don't have the budget to pay for $10,000 music videos for, like, if I have an album. I'm not gonna have the budget to pay for that, but that's just a me thing. That doesn't mean that I'm bashing or dogging anyone who has $10,000 music videos or even more expensive ones.
And
like,
it doesn't mean you should give up because you can't afford it.
Exactly.
That's another one.
Exactly. I think it's amazing if you're able to get a 10 grand music video, $100,000 music video,
Well,
or
honestly,
a $500 music
I'm way
video.
more interested on how you made it work.
Yeah.
Maybe that $500 video looks and sounds better.
Right, or if you have a free one, I think a lot of times certain circumstances put you in a position to be your most creative self, to get yourself out of that.
Having scarcity,
Yeah.
not having everything you need kind of forces you into a position where you've got to get creative with your solutions, and that kind of the whatever conclusion you do come to might be, you might find that you enjoyed that more than the other route would have gotten you, or maybe you just I'm
Right.
happy with it so much that I'm not even worried that I didn't go with the super expensive video or super
Right.
super expensive mixing engineer, whatever. Actually,
Right.
what I've got here, not only does make me happy, but most listeners probably aren't worried about, oh man, they didn't put enough compression on, blah blah over it. It's just, oh, I don't
Right.
like his guitar. Who cares, bro?
It's like,
I
I
like
mean,
his
I've
tone.
had
No.
some. It's like I've heard bangers with the fuzziest guitar pedal I could ever hear, and I've
What?
heard really amazing songs with no distortion at all and everything. There's
What you have is the best. Whatever
exactly.
You got.
You just
it.
do the best with what you have. Like
It don't mean you shouldn't get more either. Get more if you want more. But
exactly.
just,
If you have the
be happy with
opportunity, yeah, exactly. And that doesn't mean you have to use it as an excuse or whatever. You know what I mean? If you want to be able to afford a more expensive thing, and you can add it in your budget, and you want to do that, I think you can go right ahead. But I was gonna say, I don't think that you should let something like money intimidate you from pursuing your dreams. Like, there's gonna be, I think one thing I've learned with networking and stuff is there's gonna be people that'll work with you on any budget.
Yep.
Like, there will be people that'll work with you on a small budget and a big budget, a medium budget.
And there are
Like-
people they set up their business to for
Yeah.
that. I was like, yeah, I've got a certain I got a package for
Right.
this budget. I got a package for this budget.
Right.
And it doesn't mean just because you don't got this doesn't mean you aren't gonna have there won't be something available for you. You just gotta.
Exactly. And
A
at
lot
the
of
end,
times it is about just having that relationship with somebody who's willing to work with you.
right. Exactly. And it's like, I think a big thing is, like, everybody's got personal stuff going on in their lives. So, like, who are we to judge someone by the amount of money they're able to invest into
And those guys
their
understand
project?
that too.
Exactly. And it's like, I think, like, yes, I obviously invest in yourself if you have the capacity to invest, but that does not mean, I don't think that you should try to break yourself in your personal life, you know what I
Break
mean, to
myself.
invest, you know what I mean? And, like, obviously, yes, invest in yourself when it comes to, this music stuff and everything too, but, like, I'm kind of just running in circles now,
It's
but
okay.
but I hope y'all understand kind of where I'm getting at and everything.
I'm sure we got
but,
all the right ideas out in there somewhere.
yeah, I'm gonna move on. So
we can move
I hope you guys understand a little bit where I'm coming from. But
I'm sure.
But yeah, like, don't let that stop you from pursuing what you want to pursue. Like, nothing against people who have a big budget. Again, like I'm saying, like, if you have a big budget and everything, and and you're doing amazing stuff, amazing
And
work,
that works
that's
for you.
awesome.
You can maintain that.
That's awesome.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, but I think it's also awesome to have someone that might be doing it, even if they have something like Audacity.
I'm just a little bit more impressed, honestly. If you've got less and you found a way to make it work, that's better, in my opinion.
And like he said, that's his opinion, and that's another thing I want to clarify. A lot of people take some very subjective takes, and they think that they're objective, and they think that that's fact, and it's not. A lot of stuff and a lot of factors in not only this specific type of industry, but in life, are really just subjective. Obviously, like, you're gonna have your objective things that are just plain simple.
Some things are just law.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, but
you know what law is.
Exactly.
You know
law,
if you
moral,
walk
stuff
off
like
this
that.
roof right now, you will fall. It don't matter if you don't believe in gravity. It don't matter. You're gonna hit the ground.
Right.
You
not
can call it
believing
whatever
isn't
you
gonna.
want,
Right.
but you're gonna hit the ground.
It's like not believing isn't gonna stop you from hurting your leg. But I was gonna.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. Sorry for getting off topic here and everything. But yeah, I think that.
Just don't let that stuff stop you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that I think all different levels, all different areas of the musician pool, are fantastic. I think you're gonna find fantastic musicians that have a low budget, fantastic musicians with a high budget, fantastic musicians who once had a high budget but now have a low budget, fantastic musicians who had a low budget but now have a high budget.
And maybe you do more with it. Just you got a different appreciation for the money you have when you had to start low and then you came up.
Yeah.
You're like, well, now now you're looking at this dude who wants to charge you $10,000 worth of work when you already got like products maybe better from your homie back home that only charge $200. At that point, it's like, man, why not I go pay my homie $10,000 if I got the money like that?
Right. And exactly, and like.
Oh no.
No, I understand what you're talking about, but yeah, like, I think money's a big one. That's one of the biggest reasons I think why people just like bands sync and artists sync, because
that's number.
That could be a whole topic in itself,
No, what's that? So we got first off is finding your people.
Yeah.
Number 2 is just organizing with your people, and number 3 is being able to afford that.
Right. Another factor could be like the location. Like, for example, you might have a band that wants you to work with them, or they might want you to join their band or form a band with them, but they might be a couple hours away, and you might not have the time or money to invest or availability to invest in being a part of that band and everything, even though it might be something you want to do, or vice versa. You guys might all just be too far. Now, I mean, granted, I know there's people that have made stuff like that work in the past.
I was able to make that work for a minute.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's not something that every musician wants to do, and that's also not something every musician likes to do. Like, well, I guess that's the same thing, wants and likes. But anyways, I think another one could be like for example, I live in a town where it's not relatively small or anything. It's a medium-sized town and everything. And they've got a couple outlets where you can perform, and you can have some places to places to play at and stuff.
That's a good one too.
But I think, like, for us, if we want bigger shows, or if we want shows that might have more of an exposure to our scene, or more of an exposure with someone that we might want to open for, or somewhere,
like have a community that's just open to the sound you want to put out.
Exactly, something like that. Like, we may have to go a couple hours away, like for example, for example, I've done that. There's a scene 2 hours away that I usually go to and stuff and perform. I also perform a little bit around here too, yet in my home area, but I also know that that there's more opportunities elsewhere too.
Or not more, but there are others out there. Maybe there are some that might be more suited towards what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because like where we live, you know, biggest genre is like country bluegrass.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with making anything else.
Exactly.
But it's just the majority of what's being listened to and what's being played at the bars here is like that kind of music. And nothing's wrong with that kind of music. Actually, I got a buddy from high school who was like the other guy who was basically gonna be a rock star when they grew up. And he's a pedal steel player.
Nice.
Also guitar player. Incredible. He's been like super good at it since even before I even met him in high school. Dude, it's like he's another person with like the kind of trajectory that you just saw coming.
Right.
And that guy, his name's Dakota. And I think I always think about it. It's funny because like freshman year drumline, after tryouts, and you could feel some kind of way about it or not. But like I landed on cymbals, and you know that's probably not where you want to be. But Dakota and I landed on cymbals, and the two people who were like still like passionately doing music professionally are the two cymbal players from drumline my freshman year, which is kind of like bottom of the totem pole on the drumline. It's just kind of, it's interesting. I like to think about that, but also like you put two people that have a drive like that together, and look how they both end up still, you know. It's just great being around people who
can help build you up,
or like being that are as serious about what they want to do as you are.
Right. Definitely, yeah, and I totally agree with that.
I think I said that earlier too, but around here, you know, you want to play more like punk, pop punk, or like that kind of stuff. I love metalcore. I love the footwork. I just want to. It's just fun to play. Yeah. But around here, it's just not what people listen to like that. You know, it's like, there's nothing wrong with that, but that just means like if you can. And like we said, we do, and at whatever cost it takes, sometimes we've got an environment that's about 2 hours away, like out in St. Louis, that not only is consuming and supporting music like that, but they are really supporting it, and they show up for their locals. And that's what I love so much about going out there. That's what makes, you know, by any means necessary, getting out there worth it, is knowing like, if I make it there, there will be people that are gonna resonate with whatever message I want to put out, or just the sound I want to put out. People that are gonna crave it and you know, support me, or even might be people out there that I can learn from, or even people I could inspire as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But like to that point, like you said, sometimes that can be hard. I know for myself, I made being in an out of town band work for about a year and a half, and for a good portion of that I didn't even have a car. And that can be another strain on artists or on bands, where in my case I had
transportation
band members driving out 2 hours to pick me up, take me 2 hours back for rehearsal, and then I gotta get home somehow. So now you gotta, you know, every time you need me, it's a 4-hour trip basically. But I'm very lucky that they were willing to do that for me. And that speaks on its own to the kind of relationship you have with those people. But you know, to a certain point, I don't want them doing that forever. And I did get to that point where it's like, look, this is kind of too much. And I know this is straining on you guys.
Exactly. It's
so for me personally, I did make that decision where it's like, I can't. I won't say I can't make this work, because I've been making this work, and we have been making this work, but maybe it's not what's best for everybody.
Exactly. It's like it feels like it's limiting to an extent.
Or it just might be, as well as limiting, it might just be too much stress. A lot of unnecessary stress.
And like, you know, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but like transportation is another one. Like if one of your band members doesn't have a form of transportation, one of y'all or all, maybe all of y'all
have transportation. It's the wrong kind of car.
And y'all have to be responsible for picking them up, or you know, so it's like not everybody might be able to make that work, and that's just the way it is.
If you want to go back to talking about like money too, talking about gas, like it's different whenever you got one buddy who's got a minivan, or everybody just drives small sedans, and you can't pack a drum set and cabs and a bass amp in there and travel everywhere. You got to take multiple cars, and that means more gas money. So
and then, you know, add on the fact that you go 2 hours to the scene,
And we're driving 2 hours for every
Yeah.
show.
or like some people might have to drive even farther. Like then
Sometimes you just choose to go far.
Yeah,
Sometimes
and like
that community's out there, and you're like, well, I want to be a part
play
of
a
it.
show, you want to perform, and it's like, the best way I can describe it is being like a football player and seeing a football game going on, and you just want to go out there on the field.
Yeah, bleh. I know exactly what that is. Also, like since I used to play football,
Yeah,
I still miss playing all the time, dude.
me too.
Uh,
So I wanted to ask you as well. Do you have any influences when it comes to music?
it's actually funny that you just made that football analogy, because
Oh yeah.
I found almost like I got into this style. A lot of people like. Let's be real. Elephant in the room. I'm the black guy that plays rock music. So to many people, that might seem out of character at first. You know what I mean? And not really, but I will say I don't listen to a lot of rap music. So yeah, kind of out of character, if you want to call it that. Stereotypes do have truth to them, so I'm not going to argue or why people might make that assumption. But I get a lot of my music taste from playing like those old Madden football games, Madden 06 and 07 at the best soundtracks. They had Sum 41 on there, Atreyu on there, Dashboard Confessional, Rise Against on there. Just all these awesome. Found Yellow Card, was one of my favorite bands growing up. It's my
Yellow
only
Card.
tattoo I got so far, but I found Yellow Card on Madden.
Yes.
It was fighting on Madden.
Oh yeah.
And I went into the soundtrack settings. I turned off all the rap music, so it would only play me the rock, punk, and metal music.
Oh my god.
It's still set like that. Some of my my Nintendo Wii still works,
Oh yeah.
so I can still. It's a GameCube version of those games, so I'll put them in there, and I can still just listen to all my old favorite music.
All the
Basically,
old favorite
it's
one.
nostalgic for so many reasons. But that kind of set me on the path to like play the kind of music I want to play, because like I fell in love with that kind of music from my other love being football.
Right. You kind
It's
of
very intertwined.
just developed your sense of style and kind of like, oh, I kind of gravitate more towards this kind of genres or rather than this and stuff. I understand that.
Also, I just want it to be different,
You know.
because sometimes that's also what you got to be. But I was definitely somewhat of a contrarian, and I just wanted to, you know, too many young black kids want to be rappers, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you truly believe in yourself and that is your medium, do it. I'm not saying stop. I'm just saying, personally, I wanted to do something different. But I didn't go find rock because I wanted to be different. I found rock organically, and it was just perfect because I did want to be different. So I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And just through my just natural exploration of there, I found, like I said, Yellow Card's the only band I have a tattoo of. A lot of my drumming style is based off of their OG drummer. I'm actually lucky enough to where I've got to like have some conversations with him, like over Instagram. He followed me back for a little bit, and that means nothing. But to you, one of your favorite, most influential artists is following you, interacting with your music content as you're finally like getting out there playing shows on your own.
Right.
It's like that makes you feel good. I don't know.
Yeah, that feels good for you. Yeah.
And that's Longinu Parsons III. I had to say his full name, but yeah, I based a lot of my drumming style off of him. I could play every Yellow Card song. I'm sure you go to my old Facebook and you could find nothing but Yellow Card and Pierce the Veil covers too.
Oh yeah.
Man, a lot of my drumming style right now is based off of just playing drums to Pierce the Veil songs.
Pierce the card.
Pierce the Card. Oh
Yellow
no.
Veil.
Yellow Veil. Oh no.
So that actually brings me to my next few questions I wanted to ask you. So we talked a little bit a lot of it about the struggles we face along the way, about when it comes to line up a income or money, transportation, location, venues, community, stuff like that. So I wanted to ask you, how did you handle some of those struggles in the past with some of your experiences that you talked about?
I guess the first challenge I was able to get over was first finding that community.
Yeah.
And it really just started with like finding very select people. I had a buddy in high school who told me like he played drums in bands and he played shows in St. Louis,
Right.
played some festivals, and I think I just annoyed the crap out of him until I wore him down enough to take me to a concert with him.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I seen him, like, hey bro, when are you gonna take me to a show, bro? Hey, I will set your drums, I will tune your drums for you, I will help you
Yeah.
load out, load in. What's
Right.
up, bro? You need somebody to, I heard you gotta travel.
Right.
You need some extra hands. You need somebody to just, take some stuff.
Right.
I was like, I will do literally anything. Please just take me with you so I can be there and be a part of it. So, like, I want to meet people.
Yeah.
I want to just see
You want the
other people
experience.
doing what I want to do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be a part of the experience.
He finally takes me to a St. Louis show. I think the first show we went to in St. Louis was The Plot in You.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
That was
I like
great.
'em.
That was a great one.
Nice.
Man. But that was the first one. It's just like literally just like annoying the crap out of one guy and my buddy Gage, annoying the crap out of him until he finally started taking me to shows with him, and now I started, like I said,
Yeah.
I became his band's tech guy, and I was there helping them load in, load out, tuning their
Right.
drums, and then from doing that, I'm meeting other musicians and meet a couple other drums. Like, oh dude, I like how you tuned the snare drum. You wanna come? I got another show on this day. Can you come do my drum set? I'm like,
Right.
yeah, yes I can. And now networking.
Right, exactly.
'Cause that's literally how I get my start. Before I even play in bands, I get myself known in the scene. It's just that dude who's just always helping out the
Yeah.
drummers.
Yeah.
And eventually,
Drummer
that
dude.
led my way into my first opportunity to join a band,
Right.
being unimagined. But
Hell
as
yeah.
far as getting over that challenge,
Right.
that was what I had to do, and it worked for me. It might, maybe don't be that one person who's always like, hey, you wanna, can we go do, to, maybe don't be that person, but it worked for me.
Right.
It was okay.
I understand what you mean. You're just talking about kind of networking and everything, and just kind of building up better relationships within your community and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and then I could talk about the super weird way we ended up meeting.
Oh, me and you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think I
people-
forgot.
Cause like most of it's me being stupid, and like I've been stupid, okay. But that said, I had friends back in high school that liked to do pranks, and so like
Yeah.
whenever I started hanging out with these, it was like, oh well, I want to do this. This seems fun. Let me find what my thing is, and I think I'm online one night on YouTube, and I found these dudes doing all the worst pickup lines possible.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
terrible. Like really, like stuff that you. Why would you say that to somebody? But
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because it's like, what made it funny was like, oh, really, dude?
Right.
But that became my prank, and I would start just like for fun at social events, just doing it to kind of just meet people and make friends, because
Right.
at the end of the day, people don't realize it, but like it's kind of 50-50 for the response you get on that. It's either somebody's really not gonna like that you're bothering them, or they're gonna be like,
Right.
oh, that was kind of funny.
Right.
And you might genuinely meet some friends. And I think what happened was I was at a marching band competition. I was at Drums at Appletime and Murphy, and the concessions line was just ridiculous, dude. And so we're all standing in this line. It's probably been 10 minutes, and the line moved like 5
Yeah.
feet. And I'm still towards the back, and there's a group of Marion kids right in front of me. And so I still got this list of pickup lines on my phone. I don't even remember which one it was, but I start going through my phone. I pick a line, and I just start talking to them. And somehow we just getting to know each other from me doing that, because it's an icebreaker.
Right.
Like, I didn't underestimate that, and sometimes that helps. But I start talking to these few girls, and I tell them, yeah, I'm a musician. I want to be in a band. And like one of them says, oh, I got a friend that wants to be in a band too. He plays guitar. I could, introduce you guys one day. And I think
yeah.
eventually, she's like, hey, I can give you my friend's Facebook. And she's like, yeah, this is him. His name's Kevin Rich. And that was off to the fucking, that was,
Off
I'm
to the
sorry.
races.
You gotta clip me, but that was off to the races right there.
Right.
And I just think it's hilarious how like that is what leads me to maybe the first person who's had the drive and the seriousness to do what I want to do.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I always
See,
think that's
the
funny.
world works in mysterious ways. Like, and I'm sure that there's someone probably listening on this, or maybe they might listen on it whenever
I'm not
they
saying
get the
go
chance.
harass people to go find friends. I'm not. It worked for me.
Oh, no.
That's funny when it did.
No, I know what you mean.
And I didn't harass anybody. Like I said, I just kind of used an icebreaker and started a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? There might be two people that have had a very similar story that we have that are listening right now, or
People
something.
just
You know?
really just chance meet where you never.
Right.
People always talk about you never know what kind of effect the people you run into every day
Yeah.
are gonna have on your life, and that's
Yeah.
very true. 'Cause
It
I
is.
had no idea. Talking
Yeah.
to these random strangers is what's gonna lead me to starting my
Yeah,
first
just
band ever.
snowballs into something completely, and it's like, whoa.
And then it makes you really think different about that time period when you're doing that. It's like it almost thinks like that was supposed to happen. It was
Right.
part of the journey.
Like, yeah, it's like one of those really fundamental transitional like moments. I was gonna say, so that brings me to like my next question I wanted to ask you. So now that you've handled them the way you handled them in the past, and you've learned from a lot of your experiences and everything, and I guess I wanted to ask you, how would you handle those struggles differently now, if you had the chance?
Get a job. I have a job, but get a job because we're
Yeah.
high schoolers, we're little kids. So that's a very easy solution to the money problem. It might not be enough, but it might be enough to where you can actually begin to budget for
It
stuff.
can't do anything but help, you know.
It will literally only help. What else did I do? Also, like, obviously, a lot of learning experiences. Like I said, we were really young when we were starting our first band, and just like, for one thing, just generally maturing will always help you too. Just like,
Yeah.
because when you're young kids, especially high school, I don't care who you are, you were toxic in high school. I don't care. You can make whatever argument you want. Every single person there was toxic, and we all had to just learn from that stuff. And being young and dealing with 5 other people with like in a band,
Right.
it's just like, there were a million times where we could have handled
Things
like
differently.
speaking with each other differently,
Yeah.
and or figuring out what we all wanted or what we could all organize and that kind of stuff. Or
You know,
it's a lot of learning to delegate too, because I know I was very much the control freak back then, and I was just like, no, this is how we're doing this is how we're doing this. And it's just like learning to like give up some control
Yeah.
was one for me, even creatively, and that's a huge one to me. Like I never want to do that. I still never really
Me
want to
too.
do that. But like ultimately understanding that a lot of times my friends will just make it better.
Right.
And part of those challenges is also finding those people you trust.
Exactly.
And what did I do about it? I found those people I trusted.
It's like you're all important factors in creating a product.
And then there's learning the business side, and there were also like a lot of situations that we could have just handled better. I don't know, just not being so naive. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to say specifically without getting deep into
Right.
some subjects, but just generally like learning from your mistakes in general.
Yeah.
That's just a good blanket way to say that. It's just learning from your mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. It's always okay to make mistakes, and there are too many people in life that'll make a mistake and just get into this mindset that they're a screw up, and that's just not true.
Yeah, it's
At
not.
least personally to me, what I think is making a mistake is not what makes you a screw up. If there's anything that makes you a screw up, is making that mistake and then believing you're a screw up and then never doing anything to go forward from there. Just getting yourself stuck at that spot. That would be the only thing that I would say would like justifiably make you like, to define that state if it had to be. But learn from your mistakes and never be scared to grow.
Yeah, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I feel like too many people are scared to like look a certain way, or like give off the wrong impression or something. Like, I mean, like, I will be the first to tell you I've made so many mistakes in the music, like, involving just, like, music, from all factors, but, like, it's because of those mistakes that I've learned, and that's kind of what helps mold you into the person you become.
Yeah.
And that's not just in music, that's in life.
Yes, it is.
So that brings me to the next segment. We're going to talk about an advice and inspire kind of segment. So basically, this is all about leaving some heartfelt advice with the audience. So if you had any advice, and it doesn't even have to be based upon your own experience with what we talked about today, but it could be any experience. But if you had any advice you want to leave the audience today, or lessons, what would they be?
I got a few things. One, I want to start with, this one's for writers out there. Any kind of writer, lyrics, poetry, short story.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. This one's for all of you. Just keep writing. I seen all this AI stuff coming out. I kind of, personally, I don't like it, because I think it's, in my opinion, it kills creativity. But I seen an ad for an AI that'll write your song lyrics for you, and that kind of just made me angry. And I commented on this post, like, instead of cutting corners, you guys should just keep writing and stop expecting yourselves to be good at things immediately. It's a process that you've got to
build up.
Yeah, it's something you build and you develop through your trial and error, through making mistakes and finding ways to not just fix them, but just finding ways to do things better. And the only way that's going to happen is from that trial and error, just writing something, rewriting it, maybe you scrap a whole part, blah blah blah. We're just going through that process instead of just plugging in an idea to an AI tool and it does. No, that's not it. What I have to say to people is, if you think your writing's not good, that's not true. You're just not in that point of your journey, or you're just not in your zone. All you have to do is keep writing, and I promise, don't feel some kind of way. You will write a bunch of garbage. I've written a bunch of garbage.
Me too.
I never let that discourage me, because eventually, like I said from the very beginning, eventually I found my niche thing that, when I write about this subject, it was something that came very organically from me and just how I feel as a person, and the way that the subject resonated with other people. It was just right. And that was, when I found that, and that's what made me feel like, I was creating something worthy. And so, kind of 2 points. There's one is just keep at your practice, because eventually you're going to enter your zone, and what you will make is going to be infinitely better than anything like an AI tool could come up with. But it's going to be special to you, because you've developed your own way to tell your story, your own way you like to do your rhyme scheme, or your own way your own language you like to use, stuff like that. And then the other point is just you're gonna find your niche, and when you find your niche, that thing that is just special to you, you find your muse, even whatever it is that inspires you. When you find that, the way you feel when you're writing is just going to be different, and it's just going to flow from you. Because I know sometimes it does just feel like, you're sitting there, you're just trying to force something out, or you're just trying to write that one line that's going to grab all the listeners, and then you spend all that time invested on writing that one perfect line, and the one everybody remembers is the run right after it.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, exactly.
So it's don't even do that. Just keep writing, keep practicing. We're talking about practice. That's serious though.
And it's I guess a way I kind of imagine it is kind of you're chiseling, it's like you're sculpting, the more you chisel away at it, the more you're going to mold it over time into something that's going to be worth noticing.
Instead of putting a template on there and just following the lines. Yeah. Can I?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
What's another point I want to leave people with? Because I've been having a lot of conversations with my coworkers lately, and they say I'm very inspiring. And it's really just because I think about, what do I wish someone would have told me I think that's something we talked about before we started. Is like a lot of times in life, maybe if you're looking for your niche, and a lot of times in life, you're trying to find out who you are. Think about what kind of person you needed in your life.
Yeah.
And then be that person. Because I know that's kind of what led me to where I'm at. And through doing this podcast, I know from the experiences we had just being kids, trying to be struggling to like develop our first band with all our ignorance and all of our lack of experience. Not that and there's nothing wrong with any of that, because that is what creates learning experiences, and actually that's what you should pursue more than anything. It's just the opportunity to learn from something. And with all that, you find out what might really make your art special to you and special to other people. That's going to be what puts you into your zone.
It's like, in my honest opinion, fail, because that's just another opportunity to learn.
And if you aren't failing, you're not learning anything.
Exactly. Because I will tell you, the amount of times I've been successful is far outweighed by the amount of failures I've had. Meaning like I've had more failures than some big successes, and that doesn't mean that I'm a failure. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. But that's just everyone. Every single time, those are learning experiences to help sculpt you, help you
and it's
mold
just about how
into something
the fact
new.
that you look at it that way.
Yeah. Exactly. And I was gonna say, like, don't let as far as advice goes, for me, in my opinion, don't let something as small, or I'm not even gonna say small, because it's not even really small. It can be big for everyone, but like, don't let something like those struggles that we talked about in this podcast be the reason that you don't pursue music, or you don't want to pursue like a band or a group or your own music by yourself. Like,
because there might be some capacity where you can do that. You might find people that are willing to work in the same capacity that you are, are able to work within. You're gonna find people that, if you look hard enough, you're gonna find people that you can work with.
You can be $1 million musician, or you can be a musician with nothing but $20 in your pocket. And I think there's weight in talent and passion and positivity and a bunch of great things that are thriving in both of those parties.
I've got another one.
You got another one? Let's hear it.
This one would just be moral, just a general life point, is like when you talk about like getting into that mindset, or maybe so I'm sure we've all actually get into that mindset at some point where you do feel like a failure. You just kind of feel like defeated by whatever you're going through. And I just want to say, like, what gets me through when I'm feeling like that is, for one thing, the reason you're feeling like that is because you're focused very much on all the things going wrong, or all the things that haven't worked out.
It's like looking at a red car.
You're
so focused on every red car you see.
And then it's like, you got to remind yourself, there are blue cars, green cars. There are positive things out there that, just like, in life, this is a good one. Just one thing I've kind of laid all my relationships going for is like, look, if I'm around you long enough, guarantee I'm going to hurt you. Guarantee it. That's just life. I'm going to hurt you one day. I know I've hurt you before. I know I've hurt you, Kevin, before. And that's kind of what defines friendships too, is like, you're going to hurt all the people you're around for extended amount of times. It's the people that you really care about, the people that matter the most to you, are the people that you are willing to work through those things with.
Yeah, you guys talk through them and forgive each other, move through them.
But that said, also knowing, like, inevitably, you're gonna hurt somebody. Inevitably, somebody's gonna hurt you. There's an aspect in there where it's like, that's not the only thing you're doing. There are people out there that you're inspiring. There are people out there that look up to you in ways you might not even be even aware of. There might be, especially like massive artists, they don't know every individual person that's looking up to them.
I can't even fathom the amount of, like, inspirations that have came from some huge artist, you know, and it's like,
Like, what do you think that really means to them for like you, Kevin Rich, to seen what they did, and now you've decided on your dream, and not only have you decided on it, you're taking steps and are in a lot of ways living it out. How do you think that would make them feel? And who knows what they're going through in life, because they're
Right.
people too. They
Yeah,
probably got their
exactly.
own struggles and stuff. Being in a band on that level
Yeah.
is not easy either.
Being an
You have
artist
all the
on that
same
level.
challenges as us broke people. So I'm not us broke people, not to
Yeah.
call us out like that, but like it's normal people who don't have thousands and thousands to drop on a whim for one
Right.
song. So
Yeah. It's like I feel
that,
like
they might need to hear that.
right. It's like I feel it's like there's different factors where it's like both sides too.
And so definitely anytime you're feeling defeated, and every time I'm feeling defeated, I remind myself of the people I inspire.
Yeah.
I remind myself of the people who look up to me. Because for one thing, I got 8 siblings. I am one of 9, the oldest of 9 specifically.
Oh wow.
So I've got 8 kids. Some aren't kids,
Looking up to you.
A couple. My next sister and brother are basically adult age.
Yeah.
They are adult age, but like I got 8 people at all times that look up to me, no matter what. And I just think about, for one thing, I can use all my experience, especially from like the times I've been hurt, or the times I hurt people, the things I learned from that, to know put them in better position for when they get hurt, for when they hurt somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's going to happen. That's life.
That way they know, like, oh, my brother gave me this advice. You know?
So you can handle it just a little bit different than me, and that kind of comes full circle to why we're even here. This is why you're doing what you're doing, so that one of you out here are hearing this and hearing something I've said, or any other guest he's had, or anything he said, and like you are solving a problem.
Someone was tired of coming into their house at night with no light, so they created a light for the next generation.
For the next generation, that's awesome.
Yeah, I really like the way you put all that and everything. I think that's a really good point. I think all those are really good points and advice, lessons. I guess. Sorry.
Yeah,
what were we gonna say?
I was just gonna say and that last thing is just a good thing to remind, the part where I'm just like, inevitably, you're gonna be hurt, and you're gonna hurt anyone you're around long enough, and
it's like nobody's perfect, and that's
nobody's perfect, and that's why that happens.
Yep.
And it's coming to acceptance with that, and learning how to deal with that in life. It's just gonna make you feel a lot better. I don't know if I said that the way I want to say that. I don't know. You can take that last part off, but like, the idea got out.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot. I really do think about that a lot.
Yeah. So I was gonna say I wanted to transition into the promo segment here. So Taj, I'm gonna give you the floor. So if you want, I can ask you questions and everything, or if you want, I can just let you go right ahead and just tell me anything you want. But this is your chance for a promo segment, and you can just tell any upcoming projects or anything that you're proud of or interested in talking about. So go right ahead. The floor is yours.
So I will say, coming up very soon, I'm about to play a couple shows this week. I don't know how quick this is coming out. I've been playing a show with my old band White Rose at Pops in East St. Louis, Pops Music Venue in East St. Louis.
Nice.
It's fun. I love those guys. Still love those guys. When I finally we had our first practice for this show. It was actually like the year reunion to the day that I actually quit the band, because I just, like I said, they were out of town,
right,
and it was just too much stress. But it was fun to reconnect, and we connected like we had never missed any time. That was cool. So that show is happening this Friday.
Nice.
It's $5 to get in. East St. Louis, Pops Music Venue. The next night, I'm going to be rushing to get off work. I won't be rushing to get off work, but when I get off work, I'm going to be going over to Hanger to play with some local people. I love playing with Lil Pizza.
Yeah.
It's his act. Him and a bunch of other musicians
That's awesome.
I've had the opportunity to play with before. All great. That one's weird. So, like, if you want a reason to come out to that show, Lil Pizza plays guitar and does loops. We got a bass player that also has like a keyboard with some mod effects on it. we've had this guy that plays trumpet come out. We had a
Right.
banjo player, but we were just doing various covers of, I want to say pop music, but not pop music
Right.
as like, pop music, but like music that's been popular over time. So we had like songs that were probably like, we played "I'm Sorry, Miss Jackson,"
Oh yeah.
and it was really interesting just with the instrumentation, but it was
Yeah.
just like all of us just kind of,
I bet that was awesome.
it was fun. It was so
Yeah.
fun. But I'm gonna be doing that again. I was excited whenever he hit me up and said, "Yeah, I want to do that again." I was like, "Great, that was fun. That was awesome."
That was awesome.
I want to just say, because I don't think I said before, I just want to appreciate some of the stuff I have been able to do, because like I said, I'm not a musician that's had the most financial resources in the world.
Right.
I've had, like I said, I had to beg a friend to
Right.
take me to concerts so I can meet people, and what I just want to say, what I've been able to accomplish out of that, I've been lucky enough that for one thing, out of White Rose, there's a member of that band where like his friend group, I joined his old band, and just all those guys, I learned so much from them. But
Right.
that was like the first very serious band I was in.
Right.
They were signed to a record label. I went on their last tour with them, and I just learned, that was so much of a learning experience, and I just valued getting that relationship. There were so many people I met on that tour that I still talk to this day. There's a drummer off that tour I've spoken to every single day since.
Really.
Misery's drummer, spoken to him every single day since. I haven't spoken to him today yet. I'm gonna send him a message.
Oh yeah.
That's
You gotta
fine.
keep up that streak now.
But like there are people like it's like I had no idea what would come out of me just being like, "Hey Gage, take
Yeah.
these shows with you, dude."
Yeah.
So to anybody out there too, I know we pass advice, but like just try, go out there, any means necessary. If you are passionate about it, if you got the drive to do it, by any means necessary, do it. Whatever
Right.
you have, use it. Don't worry about what other people got. Don't worry about how much money you got. Like Kevin said,
Right.
just do it. Not to sound like Shia LaBeouf, don't sue me, Nike. That's all it comes down to. Make art. Just make art.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. That was just an incredible experience. I needed that experience too, because I was very stressed out
Good.
when that tour happened. I got to
Yeah.
have a little vacation from home,
Right.
and make a bunch of friends. And yeah, I'm just playing in bands now. Most important thing for last, and you asked me about my vision from the start. My vision has always been to create music that's gonna help people through their hard times. To say it in the shortest, and that's what I'm about always. That's what all my music's gonna be about. I'm not trying. I'm gonna say it like that. I will be bringing back my OG project named Saving Victoria. I named it Saving Victoria for that story I told you earlier. It's just it's about that feeling of like almost losing a friend, and not just being the person that I needed, but using that to be the person other people need.
Yeah.
And that's what Taj is about.
Well, I like what Taj is about. I couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. I think that's a really good, selfless thing. I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand music. I think a lot of people think we do it for us, but yes, we do
do it for us.
We do it for us. But it's also very dependent. Also, it's also very like, here, this is for you. You know what I mean? So
Sometimes it is for you. Sometimes it's for me.
I think
the
a lot
point
of
is-
times it's for both.
Yeah, just make something. Just make art.
Exactly. Just make what you want.
Don't let anything stop you
Yeah.
from whatever your heart is set on. That is
Right.
what you should be doing.
Right. Make it for you. Make it for someone else. Make it for your grandma. Make it for your neighbor. Just make it.
Just make it. Because I know at the end of the day, and you'd probably say the same thing, if I weren't playing shows, making music, or any of this, if I had no involvement in anything musical,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be happy.
Oh
It
yeah,
has
I
to
would.
be there. I have to be doing it,
Yeah.
or I'm just gonna be.
Yeah. Me
I'm
too.
gonna be feeling defeated all the time.
Exactly. It's like there's constantly gonna be a feeling of something missing. Like even on the times where like I was, when the pandemic was going on, and I know it was all scary and it was all a whole dark and crazy time. And granted, playing shows weren't really on the top of anyone's list at that time, obviously. But it's like, I haven't played a show since freaking 2020, so I'm ready to play a show. So it's like,
Man.
I understand what you mean, where you're, you just, yeah, I
Just
understand.
go do it.
Yeah, just
Just
do
go
it.
do it.
Just do it.
I will help you.
Yeah. Hey, see, he'll help me.
Or I'll help you find people who will help you.
Exactly.
Or if you're
And
out there,
if you're out there, you can help someone else find someone who will help you, or you can find someone who will
just
help someone
literally,
else.
just screw all the hate. Stop. We know, but none of us have time for that.
Yeah.
Just support everybody
Yeah.
and supporting everybody.
It's like the music industry, whether people want to convince you or not, it's big enough for all of us to swim.
It is big enough.
It's big enough for all of us to swim, because at the end of the day, I'm not in a competition with any of y'all. I'm in a competition with myself.
That's it.
You know,
just me. I'm
just
the
being
biggest
better.
competitor.
So that's really all I have to say when it comes to that. So, that's actually gonna allow me to transition into our final segment, everyone. So, we're gonna go ahead and close out here. I want to thank you guys so much for joining this podcast and everything and coming on here. And Taj, I want to thank you very, very much for even coming on here. You've been a tremendous guest, and I had a blast talking with you and talking really deep about all these different topics and stuff. So, again, thank you very much for coming on here.
I appreciate you for having me. I appreciate having you as a friend, and I appreciate having you to start my musical journey with.
Well, thank you.
And
I appreciate that too.
To still be here, still doing something musical, still doing something to give back to the scene.
Yeah.
At this point, and I love that I was able to come here and participate in that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you're always welcome to come back anytime you want. I want this podcast to be not only a safe space and a comforting space for everyone, even my guests on this podcast, and for you, the audience, and everything. I want it to be inclusive for everybody. I want it to also be available to everybody. Obviously, I can't do that right now with the access of only being able to be available on Spotify and iTunes, or not iTunes, Spotify's podcast app and YouTube. So pardon me for that, but yes, this is inclusive for everybody. I want this podcast to be open for everyone, and I want my guests to know also, like, y'all can come back whenever you want and everything, and I want this podcast to be kind of like a revolving door, to where even if I do run out of topic ideas, I'm sure in the future I'm gonna come up with another one, or someone's gonna recommend another one, or music is always evolving. The music scene, the music industry is always evolving. So these questions are always, and topics are always gonna be evolving. So, I think that'll be a really good thing, where we're going to be able to kind of keep the door open for that, rather than it just be kind of a limited series. Yeah, thank you for everything you've done, not only for me as a friend, a band member, but also just being a good musician in this industry. We, even in our small, our few towns around here, and even in the bigger city scene, I think you've done a fantastic job, and I think a lot of people that might even be listening have done a fantastic job in not even just our scene, but probably their scene, wherever they might be listening. And
definitely, that's like I said, just think about that impact you've had on people.
Yeah.
Whoever you are out there, anytime you're down, what if you just think about all the good you've done, or just your participation in your scene or in your community, supporting the people around you. Exactly. Is so valuable, and I don't think we ever appreciate that enough.
Exactly. And that's kind of part of the reason why I started this podcast, because I wanted it to be some place where it can be like a resource for not only musicians, music industry workers, but also fans or audience members who want to hear what the other side of music sounds like, but also musicians or music industry workers who also want to get a taste, or they want to learn. And I want to create a point of access for people to be able to hear someone's experiences and learn. Huh?
You've done it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I would like to keep this going. You know what I mean? And obviously, I'm sure in the future there's gonna be episodes where it might just be me, and I understand that. But I would like to keep having guests on the podcast if that, if it's viable enough and everything. But yeah, because I think we can all learn and grow from each other and stuff and create a healthy environment no matter what scene, you come from. You could be in New York listening right now. You could be in across the world listening right now in the UK or somewhere, or Australia. I don't know. But I want to help everybody in the best way I know how to, and I want to help everybody reach their full potential in creating a good thriving scene wherever they are, and being a good musician and doing what makes them happy. And I know a lot of times there's a lot of diluted kind of aspects within the music industry, and you don't know if this is the right way to do it or if this is the right way to do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
If it's not the right way,
you learned.
Exactly.
So all right, I'm gonna stop chit-chatting right now, but blabbering on. But thank you guys so much again for joining the podcast and everything. And again, thank you, Taj, for being a guest on here. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone who tuned in too. I appreciate all of you as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Taj, did you want to talk about any socials that you have, or any bands, or no?
If you want to follow me in my musical journey, you can add me on Facebook. My name is Tajay Lionel Taylor. I'm sure my name will be on here. You want to follow me on Instagram, all one word, the drummer TLT21. My old account got hacked. That's probably something people don't know. My old account got hacked. That is not me. But yeah, if you're interested in my journey, or just in the subject matter, because it's not me that's important. It's about, for me, it's about helping people and being the person that someone else needed, or being the person that I needed. So if you're about that, then yeah, that's where you can find me.
Well, thank you very much for providing that. I really appreciate you coming on the show. And as far as Kevin Off Key goes, if you guys want, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify podcast. That's another one. But anyways, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks again for listening, and thanks again for watching if you're on YouTube or anything.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, so come see Kevin Off Key if you want to know what the other side of music sounds like. All right, thank you guys. Bye.